One of the most powerful things you can do as a candidate is be prepared to ask great questions at the end of your interview. Most people don't prepare to do this, but if you do, it can make a huge difference. And in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 great questions you can ask at the end of your Walmart interview. Now, this is video 4 of 5 in a 5-part series. So if you haven't seen the 3 previous videos, after you're done with this, make sure you go and watch those. And at the very end of this video, I will direct you to the next one. All right, let's get started. Now, really great questions can differentiate you as a great candidate. A lot of candidates reach the very end of the interview and they say, okay, do you have any questions? And they go, no, I don't have any. And I can tell you as someone who has spent 14 years in recruitment that is frowned upon. Not only is it giving off the impression that you didn't prepare and your level of interest isn't significant because you didn't have any questions, but it is also missing out on a huge opportunity to gain insights into the role, they're interested in you, and what comes next. So let's give you 5 powerful questions you can ask to elevate yourself as a candidate and increase the likelihood of you getting a job. Now, that first question you are going to ask in your interview with Walmart is you're going to say to them, what does this person need to accomplish in the first 90 days in order for you to consider this hire to be a success? Now, this is a powerful question for a handful of reasons. One, knowing their expectations is really important. If you feel like you can't live up to those expectations, then you might want to reconsider taking this opportunity. But if they lay out clear and concise expectations that you feel good about, then that's totally different. Additionally, if they can't give you what the expectations are for this person, that's also really, really concerning. Because how are they going to measure you? How are they going to know are you a success? Are you up against a criteria that has yet to be determined? If any of that is yes, any answers to any of those questions is a yes, that's problematic. This also shows you as a candidate who is forward thinking. You are thinking about yourself as an employee and working there and what it would take to be successful. So it's a great question. It makes you look great as a candidate, and it's good to get them talking about you in the role, what you need to do, and the enthusiasm in which they respond to this tells you a lot about their interest in you as a candidate. If they go on and they give you a detailed, step-by-step of here's what it looks like, that might be a strong indicator they're interested in you. But if they go through it briefly and they don't spend a lot of time and they don't seem enthused about the prospect of you as an employee, well, that would be concerning. All right, let's go to the next one. This next question is, what does onboarding and training look like for the person who's going to join your team? You know, this is really important because I always say retention starts at onboarding. The way you were brought into the company and the way they prepare you to be successful is going to play a big part in how long you actually stay with this organization. And companies who are intentional about making sure that people are set up for success, they have a good onboarding experience, typically good, it's good, it's going to mean it's a good place to work. The thing about Walmart is they are one of the largest, if not the largest private employer, within the US. And obviously it's a global company. So there are tons and tons of stores. And the employee experience is going to vary depending on what store you're at, who the leader is, what the individual culture is at every single store. So knowing how they're doing onboarding, knowing the enthusiasm and emphasis they place on onboarding is really important. So as a candidate, not only will this make you look like a good candidate with good questions, who was prepared to ask things and who thought ahead and is strategic, but it's also going to give you a wealth of information. What is it going to look like? Are they going to set you up for success? Are they prepared to answer this? And are they enthused about providing you with an answer? If they can really go into, oh, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have this. We're going to do this. Then this person or you will get the opportunity to do this. If you can hear enthusiasm, it means it matters to them. It means you're probably going to have a good onboarding experience. But if you ask them this question, they go, I don't know. We'll have you start and there's like a pamphlet and some other stuff to do. Well, that doesn't instill a lot of confidence. So not only does this make you look like a great candidate, it's also really important to you to understand what your experience is going to be like as an employee, because to me, this would make a huge difference on my enthusiasm for pursuing the role further. Hi, if you are liking this video, could you do me a favor? Could you hit that like button? It is free for you. It costs nothing, but it helps the channel a ton and it tells YouTube I don't suck. And it motivates me to make more videos like this. And if you're already doing that, hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss one of my 3 free weekly videos, all designed to help you land your dream job and maximize your career. All right, let's go. Now, this next question is a great question to ask to the hiring manager. And it's like, what is the team culture like on your team? It's a great question, right? You want to know about the people you're going to be working with Anybody who has spent any time working in a toxic culture, toxic environment, toxic team, or with people they really did not like working with knows how important this is. And if you haven't been one of those people, consider yourself lucky. But it's still really important to understand how the manager perceives the culture of their team. Having them describe it to you is really important because the way they describe it, the enthusiasm, the knowledge, the confidence, that all matters. You're gonna hear it in their voice if they have built a good culture, if they are focused on maintaining a good culture, and if they're doing the things necessary to perpetuate a good culture. So I always ask this question because I wanna know, you are gonna be spending a lot of time working with these people. And if it is a bad environment, that is going to negatively impact you. So I wouldn't leave the interview without asking a question like this. This next question is really strong, and it's what are the skills and behaviors of the most effective people who work at your store? Think about it. They have people at their store who are some of their best employees. And those people have characteristics, traits, abilities, backgrounds, etc. Well, as a candidate, don't you want to know what those are? I would, for a handful of reasons. One, when they say, it's typically people who are hardworking, it's people who show up, and it's people who have good people skills. That's good to know because then if you have more interviews, you can talk about yourself with those characteristics. But even in that interview, you could say, that's great. I've always prided myself on having great people skills. I think it's really important when you interact with a customer. So it's good to hear that those are the characteristics because I feel like that's been a part of my success as an employee at ABC Company. That way you can hear them, talk about what's important to them, talk about what's made people successful, and immediately categorize yourself as someone who also has those behaviors. It's a great way to not only ask a question, but turn it around and use it as a way to reinforce that you are a great candidate. Now, this next question is a question you ask at the very end of your interview. I call it the closing question, and it is incredibly powerful. And that question is, do you have any questions or concerns about my ability to do the job? When you ask this question, one of two things is going to happen. One, they'll go, no, I have no questions. You seem like you'd be a really good fit. At which point you say to them, great, I'm very interested in the role. Thank you for taking the time to connect with me, and I can't wait for next steps. Or I'm very interested in next steps. This is just you reaffirming you're interested. You want to do that as a candidate. It doesn't erode your leverage, but it does let them know that you're interested in the role, which is important because everybody wants to hire someone who's enthusiastic about their role and wants the job. The other thing that could happen is they could say to you, I do have concerns. It doesn't seem like you have a lot of people-facing experience. I didn't see that in your background. And if you do, you have the chance to politely and in a non-defensive manner rebuttal this and go, you know what, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I really appreciate your candid answer there. I will say, I don't know if I did the best job of explaining some of my past experience because at A, B, and C Company, I actually do have experience being people-facing, and it was one of the things I really enjoyed about my job. So maybe I didn't do a good job of explaining it, but I have at least 3 years doing that, and it was one of the things I liked most about my previous role. And this is a great way for you to counter it. And if it's something you don't have, then you can use it as an opportunity to be like, that's a really good point. I don't have that, but it's something that I'm really interested in learning. And some of the things in my background make me believe that I'd be good at that, and you can find a way to counter it in a positive way. Do not be defensive. If you go, well, yeah, I actually do have that. It's in my resume. Didn't you see that? That's like a great way to make sure you don't get the job. So make sure you're calm, cool, collected, not defensive, but you rebuttal it in an appropriate way. And it is a super strong way to end the interview. The reality is, if they have concerns, those concerns exist whether you ask about them or not. But if you ask about it in a right way and you rebuttal in a right way, you absolutely increase the likelihood of you overcoming that obstacle and getting the job. Now, this video is really important because it gives you great questions. But one of the other things you can do that's really important is you can position yourself as a great cultural and value fit for Walmart, which is why I made this video here. This video here talks about Walmart's culture, their values, and shows you exactly what you need to do in your interview to show them you are a great cultural fit. It is the ultimate advantage in an interview. So I am done here, but I will see you right over there.